Hi, and welcome to our first new live stream show that is all about showcasing some of the incredible talent that we have out there in women speakers and finding out a little bit more about them. And my guest today is the amazing Rachel Pietsch. So, Rachel, welcome. It's great to have you here, and thank you for agreeing to do the first one.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. Looking forward to chatting, Jules.
My absolute pleasure. So, firstly, let's talk a little bit about your topic. Do you want to tell us what your topic is and your why as to why you like to talk about it?
Well, I like to talk about giving people a voice
Right.
because at the end of the day, we all have one and we rely on our voice for our mode of operation. It's how we
Yes.
communicate with people. It's how we do our jobs. So we often take it for granted until there is an issue. And I like to point out that it doesn't have to get to that point where it's an issue. And
Right.
so I talk about the training that I offer to help build voices from the ground up. And I say to people, think of me as your personal sound engineer,
Oh,
that
I
I
love it.
change the sound of your voice. And the reason why I think this is really helpful is because I've seen more voices come to life when I've worked with them. And when people are up on a stage or speaking to a small group, when the spotlight is on, or what I call the hot seat, there is that feeling of, gee, I hope my voice can deliver what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And of course, once nerves kick in,
Oh
that
gosh,
can
yeah.
change again. I mean, my mouth goes to cotton wool. That's my nerves thing.
Yeah.
And so know I need a glass of water really handy. And my little anecdote is when I was given a glass of water with ice cubes in it, which I didn't realize. And I ended up drinking some of the ice cubes and then had to chomp through them
Really good
at the beginning of my talk.
I like that. Distraction technique can work as well. But as human beings, none of us are exempt from nerves. None of us are.
No.
It's just learning how to navigate through them. And I think, the more you do speak and get up on stage, the more you get used to navigating those nerves. But wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to rely on your voice to just go bang
Yes.
from the get-go? Because people are summing up what you're saying based on the sound of your voice before they're actually taking in what you're saying. So yes, I love to help people find more of their voice, like bringing a faded photograph into more focus, bringing the color back
Yeah.
in again, and the vibrancy and expression is so much more. And it's not just a technical thing. It is also something that when people have access to that, the confidence just starts to soar.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
take more risks and you let more of yourself out. So that's what I love to talk about.
Oh, that is brilliant. What kind of audiences do you look for? Like what kind of people do you like to speak for?
I like to speak to people who are aspiring to be something.
Okay.
They're still on that journey, and they some of those people will be at their wits' end. They will have taken so many classes, done so many courses on how to put their keynote together, but at the end of the day, the presentation itself of yourself with your voice is lacking.
Yeah.
And I like to be able to dispel those nerves. So people who are aspiring are feeling a little bit of a lack, and I just love to be able to show them how I can get them over the finish line.
And then when you have a whole audience, so when you get up on stage and you're speaking,
Yep.
what sort of people do you like to have in the audience, as well as the aspiring speakers? But if
Yes.
someone was to book you,
Yep.
what sort of audience are you looking for? Because I know, because you and I know each other, that one
Yeah.
of them would be sales teams, and
Yes.
that you'd like to be able to get up and help people who have big sales teams to get
Yeah.
those people to have their voice right. Any
Yes.
other kinds of audiences?
People who are business owners, so people who are just getting their business sorted, or they're about
Yeah,
to
good.
investors, people like that. People who are wanting to do more videos on social media,
Yeah,
to get
nice.
their
So
social
sort of small business groups and
business groups.
and maybe startups as well, if you want all those people that are going to be pitching to
Yes.
investors or scale ups.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your background that has led to you being able to, have the experience and the knowledge to be able to speak about these topics?
Well, look, I've been a singing teacher, voice teacher for about 30 years. And
Wow.
I fell into it because the singing teacher I was seeing at that point in time had gotten into a show and she needed someone to look after some of her students. And me
Okay.
being a piano teacher at the time and also a singer, she asked me to take on these students. And I thought, well, yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. But what I discovered pretty quickly was that I was ill-equipped. So from a technical perspective, I'd had all my piano training. Piano was my major at university when I was studying to be a music teacher. But when it came to voice, I only had the experience of training my own voice to go from. And I
Right.
quickly found that I could not help every voice that I worked with. So that began a 15-year search for
Wow.
adequate training. And it did take me, going through many teachers, many pedagogies, and I found what I was looking for. And what I found is what is called voice function training.
Right.
And it took me 8 years to achieve an advanced accreditation with the Institute for Vocal Advancement. I had to
Right.
jump through many hoops, and including having to teach in front of a panel of master teachers over in the US.
Right.
And what it has actually afforded me is the ability to listen to a voice and understand what's happening at a functional level. Are the
Wow.
vocal cords coming together properly? Is the larynx getting in the way? And what's happening with the breathing? Because breathing forms such an important part in navigating nerves. So, and also vowel formation, because vowel formation is the thing that, and I hope I'm not boring anyone,
No,
but
no, no. This is fascinating.
is a thing that actually helps people sound good. I mean, you get all the other stuff right, and then you position your vowels really well, and boom, your sound becomes all of the color, all of the brightness, all of the subtleties can start to poke through. So I've trained in all of that, and ever since then, I have been able to help every single voice I have worked with.
Amazing.
And I'm just so grateful to have found that training. So
Yeah, no, well, clearly you know your stuff, which is amazing. When you do speak on a stage, what are two key takeaways that people might walk away from your talks with?
a key takeaway that I would look, everyone I come across, and I saw some speakers about ready to get up on stage on the weekend, and you could just see the nerves getting to them very quickly. And the first thing I go to is your breathing.
Yeah,
If
right.
I can teach everyone how to breathe before they go on stage and how to breathe while you're on stage, I will actually go through that in my presentation. I can teach you how to breathe properly. That's a key takeaway, because it
Yeah,
makes such a difference, and not only to your nervous system, but also the mechanics of your voice. And when we breathe in the incorrect way, it offsets the position of our voice, the position of our larynx, and it puts undue pressure on our vocal cords to hold back airflow. So that's a key takeaway that I like to give people. And also, because I believe that unless I give the practical, whatever I'm saying, it just hangs in the air. And
yeah,
it's
true, true.
how can I possibly understand what Rachel is talking about unless we can feel what she's saying? So the other thing I do is I get people to learn an exercise where they can actually start to engage their voice properly. So I like the practical side of things
Yeah,
to be able to give people.
which is amazing. And a lot of people, obviously, if they're getting someone on a stage, want there to be those takeaways and that practical thing. Now,
Yes.
because I know you, one of the other ways that you get up on stage, and we should say this because you're profiling what you can offer people in terms of being a speaker, but as a singer, you
Yeah.
also have a duo, I know, with another She's the Boss Woman.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's another thing we should talk about, because if there are anyone,
Yeah.
if there is anyone here that would like not only to have a speaker, but maybe a bit of entertainment as well at their event, then you and
Yes.
Julia Hume would be perfect.
Yes, yes, and we love to perform together. It is such a treat performing with Julia, and we are in the process of putting together a new show where
Fantastic.
we combine the philosophies of our own businesses. So I'm Now You're Talking. I'm helping voices. I also have another business teaching singing, and
Yeah.
Julia has a PR business called Beyond and Above PR, and she's giving a voice to people in that way. So
Yeah, I love it.
combine our two, I guess, values. Our values are very much aligned. But anyway, we are putting together a show where we can come and entertain your crowd. And there are funny moments, there are magical moments, there are thought-provoking moments, and we can also MC your event at the same time or provide background music as well. So
wow, love it.
yeah.
And that's just a little bit different, so I think it's worth mentioning. Can you tell us about a memorable speaking experience that you've had?
Yes. I'm thinking of a group of ex-teachers that I went and spoke to. They worked for what was called back then Family Planning Victoria. I can't remember what it's called now, but they're a bunch of ex-teachers, and they go out and visit schools and teach age-appropriate sex education. And they go out in pairs, and they're all day they're speaking. So on the way to different gigs, I guess you could say, they're talking to each other in the car, they're talking on a stage, or, you know, to large groups or small groups, with a microphone, without a microphone. So their voices get a rough ride all day. And it's like their voices are switched on even more if you were a school teacher, because you do have a little bit of downtime as a school teacher. So they asked me to come and do a workshop, and I just remember the light switching on when we started to do the practical stuff, and I was being peppered with questions. And because it was a small group, I started to work with people one-on-one, and it was such a fun experience for me, because I could just see that how much it was helping people. And they asked me to resend my invoice because they didn't think I was charging enough.
Oh my God, that sounds like such an ideal client.
But that was a really positive experience, from, you know, because one of my biggest values is feeling like I'm absolutely adequately helping people, and that's a teacher in me. So it was
it sounds like you had a huge impact with that. Okay. Last but definitely not least, how can people book you? What's the best way for people to be able to find you?
Well, they can visit my website, nowyouretalking.com.au, and you're spelt YORE, no apostrophe, and get in touch with me that way. They can email me, Rachel at rachelpietsch.com.au, or rachel@nowyouretalking.com.au.
And I think you've also got a profile on womenspeakers.com.au.
Yes, I do. I do, yes. People can get in touch with me on LinkedIn, on LinkedIn and Facebook.
And in the directory, which is important. Okay, so thank you so much today. I hope that this has whet the appetite of some people that will be watching and will see it and go, oh my God, I need to have that woman at my event. If you are a speaker, then please go to, if you're looking for a speaker first, then please go to womenspeakers.com.au, where we have a big variety of women. You can search by location and topic. We also have a Facebook and a LinkedIn group where you're very welcome to go in and just post about your event and the kind of person you're looking for. And if you're a speaker, I would encourage you to go to womenspeakers.com.au, grab a profile page, and go and populate it so that people can find you. With womenspeakers.com.au, there is no commission, there is no nothing, even though that's bad English. You are very welcome to just go there, contact the speaker directly, and negotiate the fee and the date and all that sort of thing directly. So I hope you've enjoyed this show. Every week I will be showcasing another amazing woman who speaks on a stage, in the hopes that we can sort of make everyone aware of the incredible talent that we've got out there. And Rachel, you're a brilliant example of